Glad you could join us. It's time for a news bulletin coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center. Today, you're with me, Alinafi Perry, the headlines of this half hour. Pope Francis preaches to the religious that charisms are for edification of the church. President Lazarus Chakwera to miss African Union Summit meeting in Zambia. Mixed reactions over ratification of Malabo Protocol. And in sports news, Minister of Sports urged people to embrace Region 5 Youth Games as a business opportunity. We have details to these and other latest stories, so stay tuned in. We begin with the story that Pope Francis, in his address to the members of the Order of the Mother of God, the Basilian Order of St. Josephat, and the Congregation of the Mission, as they hold their general chapters, has underlined the importance of evangelization, saying that it should be oriented towards witnessing and proclaiming the gospel. The Holy Father on Thursday welcomed the superiors of the three orders and thanked them for presenting the paths and perspectives of their respective institutes. The Pope extended the Church's gratitude to the religious congregations for the witness they give as consecrated persons, as well as for the apostolic activities. We have a Vatican News report.
Pope Francis also expressed his keenness to receive the general chapters because it is a way of communicating with the consecrated life, which is important in the Church, even though it means breaking his customary July 1st of a slowdown of his activities. The Pope pointed out that the chapters have been a reunion of presence for the orders after the period of forced distance due to the pandemic. He said that this should help them not to take for granted the opportunity to meet, pray, listen to the word, and share the Eucharistic together. He went on to extend his best wishes to the newly elected members of the institutes, noting that the clerics of the Mother of God and the Congregation of the Mission are finishing their chapters, while the Basilians have just begun. He then said the chapter is a time of community discernment, where with the help of the Holy Spirit, the orders try to see what extent they have been fulfilled to their charism, how the Spirit urges them to move forward, and what the Spirit asks them to change. In this regard, the Holy Father said that coming together to listen to the Spirit by presenting him with concrete situations and problems is one of the most powerful ecclesial experiences they can have.
President Lazarus Chakwera has cancelled his plans to attend the African Union AU Summit meeting, which will take place on the 17th of July 2022 in Zambia. The meeting for heads of regional economic communities is expected to take place in Lusaka, and the president was supposed to chair the AU Summit in his capacity as the Southern African Development Community SADC chairperson. Felicity Zombe has details in this report.
The state president, Lazarus Chakwera, won't be attending the African Union Summit meeting in Zambia, which is to be held on 17th July 2022. The president has designated and appointed the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nancy Tembo, to represent him in the meeting. State President Lazarus Chakwera, as the chairperson of the African Development Community SADC, was expected to chair the AU Summit meeting. However, the Minister of Foreign Affairs disclosed that President Chakwera has cancelled the trip in order to concentrate on pressing matters of national importance and upholding government's prevailing austerity policy. The AU summit will, among other issues, review progress on the AU's Agenda 2063, regional integration and the implementation of this year's AU theme on nutrition. Meanwhile, President Chakwera is today visually attending the extraordinary SADC Troika Summit meeting on the SADC mission, which is being held in Mozambique. In August, the state president is expected to travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo to hand over the SADC chairmanship, whereby in September he will be in the United States to attend the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. Reporting for Luntha News, I am Fales Chizombe.
Formation of farmers' clubs, dubbed as cooperatives, has been said to be of paramount importance to farmers as they get multiple income from their produce. This was revealed on Wednesday during a media tour to Engutswini Extension Planning Area (EPA) in Mzimba district, where farmers at Mahuza village are migrating from poverty to better lives as a result of cooperatives. Chairperson of Engutswini Cooperative, Malumbo Chiumia, said members are managing a lot of things in their respective homes as they sell their commodities at relatively high prices for their benefit. Bernard Mwanza has this report from Mzimba.
Cooperatives are said to be the easiest places to trade farm produce as buyers are motivated to easily find more commodities at once. According to Malumbo Chiumia, who chairs the Engotwini Cooperative, which is under Engotwini Extension Planning Area (EPA), in the area of Traditional Authority Mtwaro in Mzimba district, access to better markets is a challenge among most farmers in the country, which keeps most of them in extreme poverty despite tireless efforts. She said if farmers choose to form or join cooperatives in their respective areas, they will be in a position to effectively look after their families at all the time.
Since we are as a cooperative, everyone contributes what he or she has harvested, and we make tons and tons of produce, which makes it more easier for buyers to opt for such available commodities, and then we share the money realized.
Cooperatives marketing chairperson John Mlooka indicated that business mechanisms that they have set are really making them proud of their sweat, as they normally look for highest bidders and someone who can buy the commodities from their warehouses to cut transportation costs to the markets.
We had so many different buyers who opted to buy our soya, but we had to look for a highest bidder who can give a farmer a good price. He's honest, because sometimes they can try to downgrade your product just to want to steal from you. They'll tell you, no, this is not okay, this is not okay, but at the end they want to downgrade your price. So we wanted to honest buyer who can just buy us as the crop stands.
This is part of Transform project under the Norwegian Church Aid and Dan Church Aid Malawi Joint Country Program, which is being implemented in the area by a local and governmental organization called Find Your Feet to help in changing socioeconomic status of poor households in selected EPAs. On his part, Agriculture Extension Coordinator for Engotwini EPA, Anthony Hamisi, said the project is a success, saying farmers are also able to account for what they invested into farming and what they have gained as profits, so that they may have proper strategies on their farming activities.
They are able to conduct gross margins for their produce, and Transform are giving in this knowledge free to the farmers.
Most of the farmers are reportedly to have benefited a lot through the project, as some have managed to construct warehouses, buy motorcycles, pay school fees for their children, among others. Ever since its inception in 2014, with 45 members, the cooperative so far has over 300 members. For Luntha News in Mzimba, I am Bernard Mwanza.
Lilongwe Water Board LWB has today officially commissioned its Customer Service Center at Lumbadzi as a way of bringing services closer to the people. In an interview with the journalists, the board's chairperson, Engineer George Kejanga, said the facility means that they have increased the number of its bill pay points, which will eventually make it easy for people to pay their bill with them than going to Kaningo. He said the center is expected to offer post-paid bill payments, prepaid water token sales, bill inquiries, new water connection application, among other things. Bridget Monoga has details in this report.
According to Kajanga, the new service center is expected to serve around 5,000 customers from Lumbadzi and surrounding areas, as previously they were accessing Lilongwe Water Board services at Kanengo Zone Office, which is about 10 kilometers from Lumbadzi, and it has always been congested in the dimension of customer service. He said that the new service will reduce that congestion to improve service delivery.
When you see what we've done today, what the Lilongwe Water Board is doing is we are decentralizing our services. Currently we have 3 centers that are operative, one in area 25, one in area 22, and now this one which we're calling the northern zone. So the whole idea is to decongest the people that are either being served through our main centers at Lilongwe Water Board itself in area 3 or in Kanengo. This, you have asked me how many people it will serve. Probably you're talking of over 5,000 to 6,000 people that are being serviced by Water Board.
Pressing his excitement, Traditional Authority Nkuhula said he never thought this day will come when they will have a place where they can access Lilongwe Water Board services, and he has since urged his people to make use of the center as they have a privilege of paying their bills nearby.
This will help us greatly here at Lumbadzi, because we used to travel to Kanengo just to access Lilongwe Water Board services. Let me thank the board for considering us.
Lilongwe Water Board mandate is to provide adequate and reliable water supply to the residents of the city of Lilongwe that meets customer needs. For Luntha Television News in Lilongwe, this is Bridget Manoka.
If you've just joined us, you're watching news on Luntha Television. Let's take a look at the headlines before we proceed. Pope Francis preaches to the religious that charisms are for edification of the church. President Lazarus Chakwera to miss African Union Summit meeting in Zambia. Mixed reactions over ratification of Malabo Protocol. And in sports news, Minister of Sports urged people to embrace Region 5 Youth Games as a business opportunity. Moving on with the news, experts and civil society organizations continue to differ with mental perspectives on either Malawi should ratify or abjure the protocol on amendment to the protocol on the Statute of the African Court or Justice and Human Rights, the Malabo Protocol. While others, civil society organizations, feel that signing off the protocol would gear the fight against human rights abuses, law experts find it wanting. The Malabo Protocol provides for the inclusion of criminal jurisdiction within the remit of the proposed African. Albert Katanda reports.
The protocol extends the jurisdiction of African Court of Justice and Human Rights to crimes under international law and transitional crimes. If the Malabo Protocol comes into force, the African Court of Justice and Human Rights will have jurisdiction to try 14 different crimes, which are genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, the crime of unconstitutional change of government, privacy, terrorism, mercenarism, corruption, money laundering, trafficking in persons, trafficking in drugs, trafficking in hazardous waste, illicit exploration of natural resources, and crimes of aggression. Speaking this morning at a stakeholders meeting in Lilongwe aimed at creating awareness, but also drawing support towards the signing of the protocol and its ratification, Center for Human Rights and Rehabilitation Executive Director Michael Gayata said the protocol would assist the country in addressing some crimes. Gayata said this would be an indication that the country puts its people's welfare at heart.
We feel that Malawi should be in a position to ratify this protocol. It's unfortunate that since its adoption in 2014, no African Union member state has ratified the protocol. What has happened is that only 15 states have signed it, but no African state has ratified it, and that includes Malawi. And we are saying that I think this is unfortunate because Malawi is one of the states that actually participated in the adoption of this protocol. And it's important also for Malawi because issues of access to justice are important issues. We are dealing with so many human rights violations issues to do with companies and so on and so forth. And that's why we feel that Malawi should sign this protocol, but also ratify it with a view to domesticating it later.
But international crime law expert Gabriel Chimbezi said the protocol, if ratified in its current state, would differ with some laws that guide the African Court on Human and People's Rights. He suggested that it needs to be amended before ratification.
The biggest problem, the biggest challenge that we have in the Malabo Protocol is that it grants immunity for heads of state and the senior government leaders. Now, this is in contravention with the principle under international criminal law, because under international criminal law, there is no amnesty for international crimes. Now, for the Malabo Protocol to put immunity on heads of state and on the senior government leaders, it defeats the whole purpose of the protocol. Maybe for now, what we can focus on is to say the immunity clause should be removed.
In an interview, Commissioner for Malawi Human Rights Commission Chikondi Kijozi said the protocol needs to be assessed before its implementation. In June 2014, the African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Governments meeting in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, adopted the protocol amendments to the protocol on the Statute of the African Court of Justice and Human Rights and called on AU member states to sign and ratify it. So far, 15 countries have signed, but none has ratified it. The court's operation awaits the ratification of at least 15 member states. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I'm Hilbert Katanda.
Balaka District Agriculture Office says they have intensified organic manure production in order to save farmers from the cost of fertilizers. The initiative has come after noting that a 50 kilograms bag of fertilizer is going at 55,000 Malawi kwacha in most depots, which is a heavy burden on a rural farmer in the current economic situation. According to the Chief Agricultural, Environment and Natural Resources Officer for the district, Dennis Zingane, the use of manure will help in covering up the use of basil dressing fertilizer. From Balaka, here's Rashida Matandika with the report.
As hopeless as the future of crop production may seem due to the high cost of fertilizer, the Agriculture Office in Balaka District believes that it is possible to use organic fertilizer for better yields. According to Dennis Zingen, the Chief Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources Officer for the district, despite that it is not enough to only use manure for crop production, the current economic situation has left farmers with no option but to embrace the initiative.
What we are doing now is to sit down with the farmers to find other ways of maybe running away from this high cost. And what we are doing so far as of now, we are advocating the farmers. We are doing a lot of demonstrations in terms of organic fertilizer. Here we are talking about the compost manure making and the application as well. So it's a case that although we do say that fertilizer is not a replacement of organic fertilizer is not a replacement of in organic fertilizer, but we are trying as much as possible to advocate or to sensitize the farmers to make out of compost manure. So we've done a lot of demonstrations. We have done a lot of trainings on how to make different types of composting manure. Because in most cases we have seen that the farmers who do apply compost manure, they're doing better, especially if they take it as maybe as a basil dressing and apply the other top dressing fertilizers.
Zingen further called on farmers to embrace diversification, where farmers can replace maize with sorghum, sweet potatoes, pigeon peas, cotton, as well as animal production that can bring enough income to buy maize from the market or be able to buy fertilizer in return. With the challenges that the current Affordable Input Program AIP has been facing, farmers are also encouraged to be in clubs which government will use in implementing this season's program. For Luntha TV in Balaka, this is Rashida Matantika reporting.
Old Mutual Life Assurance Company will this coming Saturday launch its new product called Mtonzi Funeral Plan, where customers will be provided with professional funeral services like quality caskets and coffins, body removal, body storage, body washing and dressing, just to mention but a few. According to Old Mutual Malawi Marketing and Communications Manager Eric Mataka, this is a way of uplifting the burden on customers so that they can concentrate on celebrating the life of their loved ones while they take care of the processes. Mataka explains more to our reporter Bridget Monoka.
So on Saturday, we are launching Mtonzi Funeral Plan, Old Mutual Malawi. As you know, death is painful and it brings so much stress. So we are trying to ease that pressure by providing seamless end-to-end services. So that is body, taking the body from the place of death, dressing, we also embalming, we are providing lowering devices, a mortuary, transportation to anywhere in Malawi. So what we are saying is we are trying to ease that pressure by providing seamless end-to-end services related to death. We want we want people to concentrate celebrating the life of their loved ones while we take care of the processes. Previously, what is currently available, there are products that we provide cash, but now what we're saying is we want to, while the person is mourning, we want to do all the logistics and the running so that they should just concentrate on mourning and celebrating the life of their departed loved ones. We have got facilities end-to-end that will be providing them. So on the day we have got several activities lined up. We have got we'll start with the carnival parade from the old town hall to Mbowe, and after that we're going to have speeches, presentations, and we'll also have games, and we have got performances by Pixe, Atoti Manje, but we also have comedies from various performers.
In sports news, Minister of Youth and Sports Richard Chimwendo Banda has said the companies in the country should take it as an advantage that the country will host the 10th edition of Region 5 Youth Games this year. The minister was speaking during a breakfast with the corporate world that was organized by the local organizing committee of the Games. Chimwendo further said that the country will have some beautiful infrastructures that are being constructed to be used during the Games, and that will keep the legacy of the country. King Major Kawendo has this report.
As Malawi is preparing to host the Region 5 Games, the corporate world has not been left behind. The local organizing committee organized the corporate breakfast at the Bingu International Convention Center, BICC, in Longwe, with the aim of bringing together companies to inform them about opportunities that has availed itself for them to make their products well known by all the 10 countries who are participating at this year's edition of Region 5 Games. The companies had the opportunity to display their products through advertising and sponsoring of some areas such as accommodation, accommodation, internet provision, and many other areas. According to Youth and Sports Minister Richard Mwendobanda, the hosting of the games will represent a golden chance for the companies to reach to magnitude number of customers.
Well, we are so much happy with the corporate world, the business industry coming in to support the region of 5 games. We are looking forward for the partnership. As we have always said, that these games will not be achieved if we don't allow the business industry to participate. But at the same time, it's also their own opportunity, because we think that they can do business with us. They can also take advantage of the games and grow their businesses.
And in his speech, Malawi Chambers of Commerce and Industry, MCCI Chief Executive Chancellor Kafula Panjira concurred with the minister by saying Malawian companies have to use this opportunity to make their companies grow.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for them, and like I said in my remarks, there are so many players in the private sector who are looking forward to being visible during these games. You are aware that currently perhaps we're not exporting as much, and maybe that's why sometimes we run short of foreign exchange. A lot of companies, local companies, want to go into the region, and not only to do business in Malawi, because they have also seen that if they are not contributing to generating foreign exchange, that may be a problem for them forever. So this opportunity, these games give them the opportunity to become visible to the region, because there are 10 countries that will be competing here, and that comprises a regional market for them.
Apart from the opportunity that has been given to the companies, the games will also direct the read to upgrading of other facilities, such as Rwanda hostels, where plans are underway to renovate hostels, which will therefore improve the accommodation environment at the university. The games will also lead to improvement of competition facilities such as the Civil Stadium and the Civil Community Sports Center, among others. It will also be part of sports contribution towards tourism in the process of bringing in much needed foreign currency. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is King Major Kamwindo.
In other news, Russia and Ukraine have made substantive progress in their first direct talks since March on a deal to relieve a global food crisis caused by the blockading of grain exports from Ukraine's Black Sea ports. But an end to the war remained far off as heavy shelling continued in the east of the country. The high-stakes meeting on Wednesday in Istanbul involving Ukrainian, Russian, UN and Turkish officials broke up after slightly more than 3 hours with an agreement to meet again in Turkey next week. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said after the meeting that the talks on allowing grain exports had provided a ray of hope to ease human suffering and relieve hunger around the world, but he also cautioned that while he was optimistic, a deal was not yet fully done. Sustained Russian shelling across Donetsk province continued on Wednesday. And that also brings us to the end of this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis preaches to the religious that charisms are for edification of the church. President Lazarus Chakwera to miss African Union Summit meeting in Zambia. Mixed reactions over ratification of Malabo Protocol. And in sports news, Minister of Sports urged people to embrace Region 5 Youth Games as a business opportunity. Well, that's it from me, Elena Fiperi, and the rest of the team. We wish you a lovely good night. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.